Welcome to the Extra Yard with the AFCA. On this podcast, we will take you beyond the X's and O's to discuss the current topics within the game, talk with the key figures shaping the game's future, and give you the resources to best support your staff and players. Our goal is to bring you insights and perspectives that go the extra yard. We'll tackle the latest developments, share innovative ideas, and give advice to help you stay ahead in your coaching career. Whether you're just a coaching vet or starting out, join us as we explore the stories and strategies that drive success on and off the field. Now let's get into it. These days, it can be hard to find positive press about anything, even our great game. But there is a group out there that's dedicated to just that. But before I introduce them, let me ask you a question. Did you know there are over 1 million high school football players in the United States? And out of all those athletes, about 8% of them had a chance to go play at the collegiate level, with only about 0.4% of those players making an opening NFL roster. At this point, I think it's clear that majority of our student athletes will turn pro in something other than football. But how are we tracking that? Let me ask you another question. Did you know that there's an 82% graduation success rate of FBS student athletes? Now, this is compared to a 70% graduation rate of the general student body at the same D1 institutions. I think that's pretty awesome. What's even cooler, though, is that around 3,000 students on the 2023 college football rosters had already earned their undergraduate degree. As important as it is to recognize and celebrate all of our all-conference and all-American athletes on the field, I think it's equally as important to recognize the players who are getting it done in the classroom and the coaches that make this a priority. Well, today, our guest is going to do just that. On this episode of The Extra Yard, AFCA Executive Director Craig Bohl sat down with Steve Hatchell and Matthew Sign of National Football Foundation. Hatchell is the president and CEO of the NFF and has led the organization since 2005. Hatchell boasts a long career in collegiate athletics administration. He served as executive director of the Orange Bowl, the chairman of the Football Bowl Association, commissioner of the Southwest Conference, and he was the Big 12's first commissioner. Hatchell came to the NFF in 2005 and has helped grow the organization. Matthew Sign has been COO of the NFF since 2005. Sign previously worked for Florida Citrus Sports, putting on events such as the Champ Sports Bowl and the Gridiron Classic College All-Star Game. With the NFF, Sign oversees the NFL-NFF Coaching Academy, relationship between the NFF and Division I football schools, and much more. The NFF was founded in 1947 and focuses on the mission to promote and develop the power of amateur football, developing the qualities of leadership, sportsmanship, competitive zeal, and the drive for academic excellence in America's young people. The NFF runs a variety of programs to help achieve the mission, such as the Chick-Fil-A College Football Hall of Fame, the National Scholar Athlete Program, the Future Football Initiative, and their annual awards dinner in Las Vegas. In this episode, they discuss the history of the NFF, some of the initiatives that the organization runs, and the impact that football has on our society. Enjoy.
Steve, I'm just going to throw it open to you. Give me a background for our viewers, some of the things that the National Football Foundation has been. I know a lot of us know about the Hall of Fame, but there's so much more than that.
I think there's one of the issues that we always have with the Football Foundation is that we don't have an elevator speech. So when people say, who is the National Football Foundation? What do you do? And so we'll talk about that. And our full title is National Football Foundation and College Football Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So we always start with the Hall of Fame. We're the ones that since the 50s have put people into the College Football Hall of Fame, players and coaches. And it's a great fraternity. It's very exclusive, and you have to have it's a real high bar to get in at any level. But then from there, it's actually a lot bigger, and it's a lot more significant because the people that started the National Football Foundation said, and this was in 1947, and they had some great initial leadership from Coach Red Blake, who's got more people in the Hall of Fame than any coach in the country, General Douglas MacArthur, who helped start the foundation when he was done being the general of the Army after the Korean War, and then Grantland Rice, the noted sports writer. So he's the one that created the Four Horsemen. So these are three people that were great friends, got together and said, football means a lot. Football is that pathway to an education. And the people that play football, especially for a long time, went on to be the greatest leaders in this country. So in 1959, the Football Foundation created what's annual black tie dinner. And back in those days, they gave the national championship trophy. It was always determined before bowl games. They created Scholar Athlete Awards. They created a chapter system. How do you recognize high school people in all 47, all states in the country, the top guys that are playing football? And it goes on with all kinds of academic type things, postgraduate scholarships, people that have really distinguished themselves. And keep in mind, the whole idea is that you can play football and you can be a terrific football player. You can also be a terrific student.
Amen. Yep.
And you go on then in life and raise your hand and say, I am where I am because of football. And so this has been a vision and a mission created in 1947 that has been carried on all of these years, 77 years. It says football makes a difference, and be strong about it, talk about it, be positive about it. We have NFL owners on our board. We have our chairman is Archie Manning, who represents the game in the most significant way as an individual, as a player, as a family man, just terrific. And all of our people say you got to make a difference. And so Matthew and I have a hand on our back every day that says keep talking up the game. And so it's a big agenda. It's a fun agenda, but it's one that we think makes a difference in this country because it's a heck of a sport.
You know what? Thanks for those comments, Steve. Matthew, why don't you chime in here on some other initiatives with the National Football Foundation? I think, Steve, this would be a great dovetail. Steve talked about some of those people that played. And I was a player that played not a whole lot, but football had a profound effect on me. So, Matthew, let's delve into some of the other initiatives that are out there.
Yeah, thank you. You know, one of the things we're really strong on, and that we've been told by really everybody in the collegiate sports business that we need to double down on, is our I Played campaign. And we actually started this unofficially, probably going back to the second year we were on this job. And you came across so many people that had played football, high school or college, that talked about, what it meant to them, how it affected their lives, quite frankly, how it gave them a career.
Right.
And so we decided then and there we were going to start a database and start tracking as much as we could. And right now, our database is, close to we have 7,000 names in the database. We know we're not even close to scratching the surface, but it's so important that we're able to be good storytellers. And this is a important and somewhat easy story to tell because people want to talk about their experience. And we're always big, and when we see people, we have meetings, the first thing they want to tell us is their football playing career. Now, they'll always say, well, it was just in high school, or I didn't play that much. And, that's where we stop them. If you played, you played.
Yep.
If you went through two of these, we always say, if you covered a kickoff, you've been there, you've gone through it, and there's nothing else like that. And in a time where we have so much noise in the system when it pertains to college athletics, this is a story worth telling. And because when you start talking about, if you start talking about, you got great actors. The Supreme Court Justice of the United States played high school football. And when Steve spoke to him on a few issues, he wanted to talk about his high school football playing career.
Right.
And, everyone talks about John Cena at the Academy Awards. John Cena was an All-America football player at Springfield College. So big schools, small schools, a college, high school, we're going to tell those stories because everyone needs to hear that. And because, we don't do a lot of, you can argue we don't do a lot of things in this country these days that can bring people together and put them on the same page. But one of those is football, and talking about your career and what it meant to you and how you learned to deal with other people you would probably have never known. And we know that for others, it's a pathway to college, which means it's a pathway to opportunities.
You know, Matthew, some great comments there, and without question, college football and football in general has made so much difference in not only my life but a lot of other fellow players' life. And many times, you know, one of the things is we've challenged all these issues in our society right now. One thing that's great about it, when you're on the team, you're on the team,
Mm-hmm.
and the diverse backgrounds that you have. Guys come from different socioeconomic backgrounds, some religious different backgrounds, racial differences, backgrounds.
Yep.
But what is so great is when you're in the huddle, that's what America could and should be, and it's a shining light. Matthew, thanks so much for that. That initiative again is called I Played.
I Played, and gonna relaunch that June 1, and we're gonna relaunch it through all of our associations, including the AFCA, and you know we want to hear people's stories.
Amen.
And they're going to be able to go to our website and click on the link and put their story in there, and you know we want to hear them because they're important. And I'll leave you with one other thing on this. You know when we bring in the Hall of Famers for induction, which is Tuesday, December the 10th this year, and when we bring them in, and so Steve and I go to the various small receptions that schools have. So we were at a reception for Texas defensive tackle Doug English. Great human being, great person. And he was talking to everybody. And one of the things he said, and it really struck us both, was, you didn't have to like the teammate next to you, but you had to love him.
Wow.
And that spoke volumes.
Yeah, that's great. Steve, let's talk about a couple other initiatives that are going on. I know there's some new programs that are out there that you and I have shared with one another. So why don't you delve into that a little bit for our viewers?
One of the things that we benefited from being at the Football Foundation is that we're not the NCAA, we're not the NFL, we're all football.
Amen.
And so you go from the NFL to Pop Warner, and we work carefully with all of those groups who then have suggestions about the good in the game. And when you go back and look at the 77-year history of the National Football Foundation, it was created to promote the good in the game. That's all there was to it. Doesn't matter what level you're at. It's the good in the game. What did you learn from it? What came out of that? And one of the things, if you were to go and look at our board of directors has top leading conference commissioners. It has the commissioner of the NFL owners. It has top athletic directors. It has some of the greatest football players that have ever played in the game. When you go through and look at that bunch, and I put that bunch in together because it's a huddle, it's men and women who are committed to the game moving forward. And you better be prepared when challenges come up. We live in a time with social media and everything else. There's challenges all of the time. Casual thinking, a lack of looking at facts when you make statements. And so things get out there that get a little bit out of whack and imbalanced. One of the things that is really important to the Football Foundation is that the value of going to college and playing football is that is a platform by which you can get a degree. And as we say, we think you go to college, you play football for 4 or 5 years, depending on that time. You're going to build a house in that 4 or 5 years that you're going to live in for 40. And don't forget that. And so we have the numbers on how many people get drafted or sign in the NFL. It's very rare. You have to be very special to go to the NFL. Then if you're there, you're not there that long. What are you going to do then when you get done? Let's say you're there for 10 years. What are you going to do for the rest of your life? You're not even 40 years old. What are you going to do for the rest of your life? And we believe that getting that college education is vital. And with their 772 colleges and universities in the country, playing college football, that you have that opportunity still to gain a lot by going to college, getting that college degree. So to fortify that, and keep in mind with the people that are on our board of directors, people say, let's get back, let's re-emphasize this. Let's do something different. That's not just, isn't it nice we're recognizing the top scholar athletes, because the graduation rates are better than what people think. There's colleges and universities adding football to their athletic programs around the country. And we have all of this data. Well, the data that we now come up with is that the Football Foundation has created the NFF, National Football Foundation Leadership and Entrepreneurial Academy. And it's not just Leadership Academy, it's entrepreneurial, because 65% of the young people going to college today don't want to necessarily go off when they graduate and just take a job. They want to get and do something entrepreneurial. So let's take it on. Let's get into this. So we've created an educational committee, and it's got presidents of universities that are members of our board. It's athletic directors, professors that say, okay, let's put this together. We can make this happen. Let's create that carrot out there for people when you go to college and you're going to get that degree. You're going to graduate. You don't have any debt because of the scholarship you're going to have. We're going to have you go to a boot camp, and we're working with GSV, which it's the best academic program in America at higher education. And these people have now put together what they call a boot camp. So it's very simple criteria. You go to college, you play football. You graduate or about to graduate. You go to the boot camp, which is a Zoom 4-week program. You're going to hear from great people like on our board, Tim Cook at Apple.
Wow.
What's it like to have a vision? The next day, you've got Admiral Bill McRaven, who ran SEAL Team and SEAL Team 6. Then the next day, you've got Anthony Noto from SoFi, who played football at West Point, then went on to be great leader in the military, in the Army, then goes on to be great at not only at the NFL office as a CFO, but at Goldman Sachs, and now he runs SoFi. So these are guys that do this, and we go right on down the line. Great women. Kathy Murphy, Fidelity Investing, who will get you off your seat. This is one of the most strong females in America that says this is the value of football. And as Condoleezza Rice said at one of our dinners that Matthew referred to, we gave her the Gold Medal Award, which we've given to 7 U.S. presidents. Condoleezza Rice got up there and she said, football does its part. And so we want to emphasize that. So you're going to get that degree. When you finish up with the boot camp, then you're going to get this certificate, as Matthew pointed out. And then we turn around then to different companies and say, take a look at this person right here. Because we get all of the scholar athletes that come through our office every year. And people are stunned when you say our typical Hall of Fame academic class every year has a 377 grade point average. We've got people that are now doctors and lawyers and corporate people, and we've got great NFL players who have been recognized with us, but they show they can make a difference. So we think with the Leadership and Entrepreneurial Academy that we're going to give a greater buzz to all of those players. You don't have to be a great player. You don't have to just be one of the top Division I FBS players. You can come from all levels, because right now we have a database that Matthew referred to that shows that there are great leaders in this country from all levels of schools, and we're going to emphasize that. You know, Steve, boy, what an exciting program. When you first opened that up to me, that really piqued my interest. And I just want our viewers to know that this is a program that we wholeheartedly embrace and endorse. How can somebody, or how can a college coach who's watching here today say, I have a young man in my program that is ideal for this. I would like to provide a pathway for him. So that coach that's out there from whomever school, what college, university, how can they now go about this? Should they reach out to us, or should they reach out to the NFF? Well, to properly engage in all of that, we're setting it up to where, and we have set it up in a way, Craig, that obviously go through our website, but there would be a mechanism there that we've got a lot of people that are smarter than we are that are setting this up for us, but they recognize this, and it's all done online. And you go in and you add just basic things. We're going to work with all of the college coaches in the country that say, hey, sign up all your guys. Doesn't have to be one guy. It might be you've got 4 or 5 guys every year that are coming out. Right. What's the next step? What's the next step? Well, you know, college coaches care about their youngsters that are out there. We look at ourselves as, you know, a mentoring position, and where a guy is going to be 40 years from now, like you said, that house that you live in. I think a lot of times, you know, our audience out there will see us on Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, and, you know, we're out there and we're intense as coaches, but I don't know if anybody cares about players more than college coaches.
And one of the things that made a difference in my life was these guys that came as young men, they left as men, and now what are they doing? A guy like Matthew Sign here, or some of the other guys I've had the privilege to work with through the years. Boy, what a great, great initiative, though, to really hone those skills up to be able to make a difference. I know that every year I would have different corporations call me and say, Coach, who's your top guy? I want your top guy. And those guys now have been very, very successful. A lot of it is the lessons they've learned, but you've just taken this into a whole different level. Boy, what an exciting program.
Well, we just want to showcase what college football has always done, which is to highlight getting a college degree and the guys that played the game, and look what they're doing now, because very few make it to the NFL. So let's change our rhetoric. We love it if you can make it in the NFL. You're talented. You're special. But that number is 0.3, 0.4% in any given year. That means, let's look at the statistics in the right way. That means that 99.3 or 99.4% in any given year of the 81,000 college football players are going on to do something different. And what are they doing now? And as Matthew pointed out, they have stories that you can't believe. They have the best stories. And they're quick to raise their hand and say, put me in, Coach. I am where I am because of football. Military leaders, actors, business leaders, it's all across the board. College presidents. It's just a marvelous thing. And it's up to us now to showcase that.
You know, without question, and Matthew, I want you to jump in here just briefly, but many times, you know, we just stay in our own lane, or we just, okay, we're going to do our own due diligence, but the story needs to be told. And there's a lot of naysayers out there. A lot of people want to take a cold 5-gallon bucket of water and say, football doesn't matter. Well, baloney. It makes a big, big difference. Matthew, anything that you'd like to share?
Well, football clearly matters because, you know, as we start the 2024 season, we'll have 777 four-year colleges and universities that will have a football program. 11 more will be added between 24 and 25.
Wow. See, this stuff people don't know.
And since 2008, 93 schools have added a football program. So it does make a difference, because it makes a difference in the community. It certainly makes a difference on campus, especially, you know, people tend to forget. College football is played all over the country at a lot of different levels. I mean, we all talk about the 130 at FBS or 134, whatever it is now, but you know, take the rest, the 600 plus, and there's a lot of good stories there. There is great coaching about coaches who care. There's kids who are playing because they're playing either for their grant and aid or their scholarship, or you know what, they just love playing the game. And think, you know, you have to think of all those young men that the sport has made a difference on, and they're going out and doing, just Steve said, they're doing great things. It doesn't just happen at the Power 5 level. It happens all over the country. And so we're really strong in making sure, it comes back to the I played, you know, wherever you played, if it's North Dakota State, if it's Rice, if it's Colorado, but if it's Adrian, if it's if it's Texas Wesleyan, you know, it's still football, and you're still making a difference. And think if we didn't have those opportunities, what would happen to those young people? And it's not just the young men playing, and it's not just the coaches. Mm-hmm. It's everything that comes with football. The student managers, the student trainers, the band, the cheerleaders. Where would they get that opportunity? Maybe, maybe not. But it certainly does a lot for the school and the community, and people have to understand that. And that's our job at the foundation. Our job is to be good storytellers and promote the good in the game. There's plenty of other people who can talk about the negative, and doesn't mean we don't acknowledge it, but if you're going to give us a negative, we're going to come back with 3 positives for you.
Yeah,
that's always been our role from the day we were founded.
You know what I'm so excited about is you two have talked about stuff that links up right with where we're at with the AFCA. We have, you know, a different lane per se, but the message is exactly the same. And I'm really excited about us renewing and engaging a partnership with the National Football Foundation, because we can make a difference. There's no doubt. Steve, anything you'd like to add before we close off today?
No, I think our biggest thing is that we are beyond thrilled to have you in this position. And the reason that that's significant is that you've coached at the highest level. You've had great success. You understand what it is to coach young men and what they're going to do later on in life. And that mission links up totally with the Football Foundation. And at 77 years old, you're on the same heartbeat. You're in the same huddle with us, Craig. So we're thrilled to have this with the AFCA, and it's going to be really important. And we want to step off the curb and go make this happen.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Extra Yard. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts under the Inside the Headset feed. You can also find us on the AFCA YouTube page and AFCA.com. See you next time.